Welcome everyone to yoga this week. I hope you've all had a good start back to school. So this week in yoga we're going to be exploring a story. We're going to be exploring a story of an old Norse god. But before we get into our story, we'll do some yoga with it. Let's come and say hello to our bodies and our breath. So let's just come take a moment to center, take a moment to notice how we're feeling. So perhaps you would like to close your eyes or just lower and soften your gaze. And just take a moment and have a sense of any sensations that you feel in your body. Maybe you can notice your breathing. Having a sense of the length of your spine, your shoulder blades sitting on the back of your body. Hands resting in the knees or your lap. Just notice how you're feeling. If you've got a lot of energy and you're feeling a little bit tired. You're feeling happy, sad, or maybe you can't really notice exactly how you're feeling. All of it is fine. We just kind of notice whatever is there without judging ourselves. So we always notice with kindness. Let's come to gently open our eyes. So we always come to try and be aware and be kind to ourselves. Okay, so let's come and do our breathing with the chime. So let's come and breathe in 3 times with the chime. In through the nose and out through the nose, if possible. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. One last time, breathing in. And breathing out. Great. So I'm going to pop this aside and we're going to start by coming to warm up our bodies. So our story is from the Viking times. Let's come and find some circles. And the Vikings lived quite a long time ago. Circling one way. And then coming to circle the other way. But over 1,000 years ago. So the Viking time is usually thought of as being from around 800 AD to around 1066. So in the Middle Ages. Over 1,000 years ago. And many Vikings kind of left where they lived. Let's come over to the other side, and they would come to invade other countries on their boats. Let's come onto find our Viking boat, and some of them came over and fought battles and went back home with their plunder or whatever they kind of won in the battle. But a lot of them were also looking for places. Excuse me. A lot of them were also looking for places, somewhere else to live, because where they lived, up in the northern part of Europe, we're going to come and imagine we're rowing our boat now. So keeping your feet down, seeing if your body can go forwards and back. So a lot of the places that they lived in northern Europe were really quite harsh conditions, very cold, it's quite difficult to farm. So they were looking for some places where it was warmer and it was easier to farm, looking for somewhere else to settle. So many of them came and settled in England. Let's come and bring our legs up, see if we can find our Viking boat. And then let's bring our knees in and come and stretch out our arms and our legs. So this part of Europe that they come from, we're going to come do some rolling in a moment, is we now kind of know as Scandinavia. And Scandinavia is made up of 5 countries. And Scandinavia is, as I said, in the northern part of Europe. So let's come, we're going to do our rolling, and we're going to see if we can name all 5 Scandinavian countries. And I'm going to give you a clue. So we're going to roll back, and then when we've rolled forward, we're going to say the name of the country. And we're going to say them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to give you a clue. The first letter of the first Scandinavian country is the letter D. Let's roll back, rolling forward, Denmark. All right, the second letter, the second Scandinavian country is F. So Scandinavian country beginning with F, Finland. The third letter is the letter I. Should beginning with I, Iceland. And the fourth letter is the letter N, Norway. And for the last one, when we roll up, we're going to come up to our squat, and the letter is the letter S. It's Sweden. Well done, everyone, if you've got those right. Let's come, and if you didn't, it's fine. So we all learn something new. So let's come, and we'll go from heel to toe, just warming up our feet, and then let's bring our hands together, and we can come all the way up and come to find our way up to standing. So let's just take a moment in our standing pose and notice how our feet feel. And we're going to come and do a little bit of a standing twist. So we're going to take our arms up, and then we're going to twist over to the side, letting the arms come down. And we're going to come up, and we're going to twist to the other side, letting the arms come down. So let's come, and we're going to turn on both sides of our brain now. So we're going to do opposite hand to opposite knee, and then to foot. So we're going to go opposite hand to opposite knee. So we're crossing over the midline, and this is good to activate both hemispheres of the brain, both sides of the brain. Then we're going to take opposite hand to opposite foot behind us. Taking it nice and slow. Maybe you're finding it really easy. When I first did this, I found it really challenging. I had to really slow it down. It took me a while then once I sort of knew what I was doing, it was okay. Okay, so now we're going to go knee, knee, foot, 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 knee, 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 foot, 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 knee, knee. Now we're going to go knee, foot, foot, knee, knee, foot, foot, knee. Okay? Knee, foot, foot, knee, knee, foot, foot, knee. And feel free to pause and take your time with that, because it can be a little bit confusing. Great. All right, from here, we're going to take our right arm over our left. We're going to make this cross arms. We're going to come and find our eagle arms. We're going to see if we can bring our palms of our hands together. But it's not necessary that we bring our palms together. You might only have them like this. That's fine, as long as you've got your arms crossed. And I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see our elbows. We want to take them up and away. So we're coming into the shoulders. From here, we're going to lift up, and then we're going to fold all the way forwards. Just having a nice bend in the knees here. Bending in the knees as we come to roll up. And we'll open up our arms and come and do the other side. So now we're going to have the left arm on top of the right. Finding that hand position if possible, just keeping the arms crossed, taking the elbows up and away from the body, up and coming all the way down, folding forwards, bending the knees, rolling all the way up, opening through the arms. So the Norse, the Vikings were also called Norsemen, and this meant, they were called this because Norse means north, so they lived in the north, they came from the north. So we're going to come and do a bit of a compass pose. So I want you to take your feet wide. We're going to bring our arms up. My hands are touching. You can't see them, just off the screen. Let me come actually and just come and alter that a little bit because I've got a bit of leeway. Let's see. So, nearly. So we're going to take our feet wide. Toes are pointing forwards. We're coming to north, okay? We're going to come and take the feet to the left. And we're going to come and let the hands come to east, and then we're going to come down to south. Toes are coming forward and up to west, back to north. So my feet are moving. So to the left, to the east, forwards, to the south, to the right, to the west, up to the north. Let's go the other direction. Let's take our feet over to the right, go to the west, coming forward to the south, coming left to the east, up to the north. One more time around, moving our feet to the west, to the south, to the east, to the north. Well done, everyone. Okay, we're going to come and just move through our sun salutation now, just to do our final warm up, and then we'll come and start with our story. So coming to find the top of your mat. Let's come to take a moment in our mountain, breathing in, breathing out, bringing your hands in front of your heart. Breathing in, lifting your arms up, breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, we're going to step back with the right foot, and then we're going to hold the breath as we come into our plank. Breathing out, we're going to lower the knees, lower the body. We're going to lift the hands as we come into our baby cobra, breathing in. Breathing out, we're going to come back through our downward dog. Breathing in, we're going to step forward with our right foot. Breathing out, the left foot is coming to meet. Breathing in, we can keep the knees nicely bent and just come to roll up. Breathing out, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Let's breathe in, let's bring our arms up to do the other side. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathing in, we're going to step back with the left foot, bringing the knee down. Holding the breath, we're coming into our plank. Breathing out, we're lowering the knees, lowering the body down. Breathing in, we're going to lift the hands up, coming into our baby cobra, lifting the chest. Breathing out, we're coming back through our child pose and dog. And breathing in, we're going to step forward with the left foot. Breathing out, the right foot comes to me. Breathing in, just having a bend in the knees, and just allowing the body to unfold. Breathing in, breathing out, hands in front of the chest. Just coming to notice how you feel. Let's come and sit down for a moment. And just come and take a breath in and a breath out. We can breathe it, do our flower breath, having our fingers together, breathing in, we open our fingers. Breathing out, we close them. So, our story today is about the chief of the gods, Norse gods, Odin, the Viking gods. And the story is called Odin's Eye. And it's the story of how Odin gained true wisdom. So, Odin lived with the rest of the Viking gods in a place called Asgard. And the world that we live in, Earth, was known as Midgard. Now Asgard and Midgard are joined by a rainbow bridge, and we're going to come and make that rainbow bridge with our bodies first. And we're going to come and try a couple of ways. So let's come and do our tabletop. So having your fingers facing whichever way works comfortably for your body. I like having mine facing towards my feet, but for some people it feels much better to have them turned that way or out to the side. So just noticing what feels best for you. We're going to come and lift up our hips, and we're going to see if we can extend our leg, making that rainbow bridge nice and long. Remember, it's got to get all the way from Asgard to Midgard. Let's extend with the other leg. Now let's come all the way down, because maybe we can make it a little bit lower, a little bit longer. If we came onto all fours. So this time we're going to extend. I'm extending out my right leg, but I'm also going to extend out my left arm. So I've added extra length to that rainbow bridge. Bringing down the arm, bringing down the leg. Let's come and do the other side, the left leg and the right arm. So we've got that lovely long rainbow bridge that joins Asgard, where the gods live, to Midgard, because often the gods would come and visit Midgard, often in disguise. And Odin was no exception. Let's come onto our squat, and let's come bring our hands together and come up to standing. Now Odin was a god of many things. Let's come and find our warrior too. He was god of war. He was god, let's come and do it the other side. He was god of battles. Let's come back to the other side. He was god of victory. Warrior two, very strong. And one will turn to the other side, and he was god of death. But he was also god of magic. Let's come and do our open warrior, our rainbow warrior. It's got magic. Let's come to the other side. He was god of poetry. He was also god of, so many things he was god of. Prophecy. And last, but definitely not least, he was god of wisdom. And Odin did love to know all the things that were going on. He liked to keep track of everything that was happening. And he had different ways of doing this. He had two ravens that would sit on each shoulder, Hugin and Munin. Now Hugin and Munin would fly off to Midgard and collect lots of information and wisdom and fly back to Odin and let him know what's happening. Now we're going to come and do our crow pose, because ravens and crows are in the same family. The name of that family has just escaped me now. Can't think of what it's called. Maybe it will come back to me during class. And they're very intelligent birds. So let's come for our crow pose. You may want to get a cushion in front of you, just in case you tip forward, so you've got something soft to tip forward onto. Okay, so we take our hands down. I like to have my fingers really spread and feel like I'm pushing into all the edges of my hands and my fingers, so I'm activating all the muscles on the side of my body as well. From here, we're going to lift up our hips and bring our knees towards our armpits. Okay? Now, important to look forward, like Hugin and Mooning. We want to be looking out, seeing what information we can collect. From here, we're going to come and fly. We can lift up 1 foot, 2 feet, be in our crow balance. But we can also, if we can't lift up the feet, we can also just come forward and notice how it feels. Maybe just lifting up 1 foot, lifting up the other foot. Just starting to have a little play, getting the body used to being in crow. Okay, so that was one way he got information. Now back through his ravens. He would also sometimes put on a magical cloak that would disguise him so that no one could recognise him. And he would take his walking staff. Now this pose is called staff pose. We're keeping our feet nicely flexed, our torso nice and long, so feel the muscles on the front and the back of the body working. And he would go to Midgard himself and walk around and see what was happening. And if he wanted to travel a little bit faster, let's come, bring our knees up, we're going to come up to standing. He had an excellent way to travel. Let's come and walk our feet forwards. He had a magical horse called Sleipnir. And let's take our feet wide. We're going to come and bend our knees. The toes can be pointed out. But Sleipnir didn't just have 2 legs or even 4 legs. See if you can bring your hands down. He had 8 legs. So he could go really very fast indeed. So let's just come and go a little bit from side to side. Imagining if we move fast enough, our arms and legs might look like 8 legs. But it's a bit difficult for us to do 8 legs because we only have 4 limbs ourselves. So let's come and heel toe the feet in. Coming to our mountain. However, Odin got a little bit tired of walking and riding and having to wait for information to be brought to him. He thought, if only I could be all-knowing. Because although he was a powerful god, he wasn't all-knowing. And he knew that the only way that he could become all-knowing would be to gain true wisdom. Now, he knew that he could gain true wisdom by going and having a drink from this magical well that was in Midgard, so in the world that we lived. There was a wise being who was an advisor to the gods called Mimir. And Mimir had this magical well. Let's come take our feet a little bit wider and we're going to fold down, coming down into the well to gather some water. Anybody who drank from Mimir's well would immediately gain true wisdom and know everything that was happening or was going to happen or had happened. And Odin very much wanted to have this true wisdom because he thought, well, I could just stay at home, relax, wouldn't have to go anywhere. I'd just know everything that was happening, had happened, and would happen. It would be brilliant, he thought. So, Mimir as well. So he decided that he was going to set out and go to Mimir's well and try and drink from it. So he put on his cloak and he took his staff and he set out on a long journey. So he'd have crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and when he came to Midgard, he had to cross many mountain ranges. So let's bring our arms up. We're going to forward, and we're going to step back into plank, and we're going to come and do our mountain climbers, because Odin had to cross many mountain ranges, and he had to cross, let's come and bring our feet in, and we're going to roll up. He had to cross some of the highest mountain peaks. So coming to find your tiptoe balance, seeing if you can bring your arms up and make yourself into the highest mountain peak possible. Coming down. And not only that, the whole time he was going through the mountains, there were strong, snowy, cold blizzards blowing. So it was pretty hard work. Right, we're going to come and do something now called blizzard walking. So I want you to imagine that there's a really strong blizzard blowing towards you. I want you to imagine the wind is so strong you can barely walk into it. Having to use all the muscles in your body, coming forward. Gust of wind maybe nearly blows you over, walking through the blizzard. You can see how long it would have taken Odin to get across the mountains. Hard work. Anyhow, finally he came down from the mountains. And I forgot to say that Mimir's well was in Midgard, but it was also close to the land of the giants, which is called Jotunheim. So he came down from the mountains and he was quite close to Jotunheim. So not surprisingly, he saw coming towards him a very giant. Can you make yourself as giant as you can? And this very giant was riding on the back of a rather large wolf. Let's fold forward. Let's step our feet back into our dog pose. But we're going to come and transform our dog into our wolf. We're going to come forward into our plank. We're going to drop our knees and bring our hips forward. We're going to bend in our elbows. Ow! Coming and letting the hips come back and finding your way back into our downward dog. We can just come and bend and straighten the knees. Let's come and do that one more time. So we're going to roll forward into our plank. Let the knees and the hips come down. Ow! Coming all the way back up. Let's bring our feet in and we walk our hands towards our legs, walking all the way up. Hello there, said Odin to the giant, and he immediately recognised the giant as the wisest of giants, who knew many things. And Odin had something he wanted to learn from him. So him and the giant had a little chat. Hello, said the giant to Odin. How are you today? And then Odin said, there is something I would like to learn from you. And the giant said, oh, well, we're going to play a little game. He said, I will tell you what, you can ask me a question, but I will ask you 3 questions first. This is the game. And if you answer them correctly, you can ask me your question. But if you get even one wrong, I'm going to take your head. Because you see, the giant loved having boiled head for his dinner. Odin was a bit like, oh, I don't really like the idea of this game, but he really needed to know what he wanted to know, so he decided to take the chance. Okay, said the giant, excellent, we'll play the game. Ha, 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 ha. He didn't know Odin because he didn't recognise Odin in his disguise, so he thought he had a good chance of beating this man. The first question is, what river divides Jotunheim, the land of giants, from Midgard? Let's come and do our river pose. We're going to come and imagine our river flowing down. Taking our arms up. That is the first question. Waterfall river, down and coming up. The second question are, what are the names of the horses that pull the sun and the moon through the sky? Let's come back down into our horse pose, holding onto our rein. And the final question, said the giant, what is the name of the plain where the last battle will be fought? Let's come on, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Jab, jab, jab. Jab, jab, jab. Odin, who had been holding his breath with nervousness, sighed a breath of relief. He knew the answers to all of those questions. He said, well, the name of the river that divides Jotunheim from Midgard is the Ifling. And it's a deadly river. Any living thing that falls in it immediately freezes. So let's come, we're going to come and do our shake and freeze. We're going to shake, and then we're going to imagine that we fall into the Ifling. Freeze. Okay, let's come and shake again. Shaking. And then we just tumble into the Ifling and we freeze. Freeze. One more time. Let's come and shake everything out. Shake, shake, shake. And then, oh no, we've fallen into the Ifling. Freeze. Okay. Question number 2, he said. The names of the horses that pull the sun. Let's come and do our sun arms. So we're going to bring our arms all the way up. And we're going to come and take them all the way out, making a big sun. The name of the horses that pull the sun and the moon through the sky are Hrimfax and Skinfax. Let's come and do our crescent moon, stepping our feet together. And take the body over to one side. Back to the centre and over to the other. And the final question, said Odin. Let's come and step back into our warrior 2 pose. The plain where the last battle will be fought is called Valigard. So let's come. We're going to come and do our bow and arrow warrior 2 now. So we're bringing our bow forward and we're going back. Coming forward and back. Let's turn around, other way, coming forward and coming forward, shooting our bows and arrows. Well, the giant was a little bit grumpy. Can you do a bit of a grumpy face and a grumpy pose? Wasn't going to be having boiled head for dinner tonight, he realised. You're right, you got all my questions right. Well, I suppose that means you can ask me your question now. So Odin said, what is the price I will have to pay to drink from Mimir's well? Ah, said the giant. Well, the price he will ask for your right eye. Odin shuddered. Ooh, for when he was on Midgard, when the gods are on Midgard, they feel the pain and feel pain in the same way that me and you feel pain. And you can imagine losing your eye is going to be quite painful. Let's come down to sitting. As Odin continued on his journey towards Mimir's well, he considered, was the price too high? He loved his eyes. Let's come. Bring our finger in front of our eyes. We're going to come and do some exercise for our eyes now. We're going to follow our finger without moving our head. So when I move my finger to the side, I'm not going to move my head. I'm only going to move my eyes. His eyes were bright and sharp. He could see tiny things from miles away. And all that looked into Odin's eyes, all whom looked into them, couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. But, let's come to bring our fingers down, Odin reasoned with himself, he had two. So maybe he'd be willing to give one up. Finally he came to Mimir's well. Oh, hello Odin, you've come to drink from my well, said Mimir as he approached. He was waiting. He's drunk from the well, so he knows everything that's going to happen. Are you willing to pay the price? Yes, I am, said Odin. And Odin tore his right eye from his head. Oh, let's not even think about it. Let's just come and cover our eyes and keep them nice and safe. Keep them nice and just give them a little bit of coziness in our hands. He tore his eye from his head. The pain was searing and intense. But then Mimir gave him a horn of magical well water to drink. Let's bring our hands together like a horn and then come and drink that magical well water, and we can come and sit in our pose. And immediately Odin knew everything that was going to happen, everything that had happened, everything that is happening. Now, for a normal person like me or you, that might be a little bit too much to know. But remember, Odin is a Viking god, and so he laughed with joy when he saw all the good things that were going to happen, and when he saw all the hardships and sorrows that would befall mankind. He also saw all the ways in which he would be able to help. And so this is a story of how Odin gained his true wisdom, and he had to pay a high price for it, but he used it wisely. I hope you enjoyed that story. So let's come and do a little bit of a cooling down now. So we've already come to sit down, so we've already started to let the body come to rest a little bit, but we're going to come and do a few more cooling down poses. So let's just come and lower down with our very trusty rope. Lowering all the way down. Let's take our arms out into T. Remember, if you don't have space for T, you can always have a cactus arms. And we're going to come and do our lying down twist, where we're letting both knees come over to one side and the head is going to go to the other. And we're just going to come and breathe here for a moment. And let's come and bring the knees back up to center and take them both over to the other side, and the head comes over. So that was a high price to pay for wisdom. I don't think I would want to pay that, but it's a good story. Some of the Norse legends are really great stories to find out, read about. So let's come, bring our hands come to our belly. So we've got our knees facing upwards, we're in our constructive rest pose. And it's quite interesting comparing how the differences between the Norse gods, the Viking gods, and the Greek gods, and the Roman gods, and all the different gods from around the world, gods from different cultures. Next week we're going to have an Indian story, story of Diwali, the story of Sita and Rama. And of course yoga comes from India, so I thought it would be nice to do an Indian story with some Indian gods in it. So let's notice how we're feeling, letting everything come to quiet down. We can come to just gently lift up the legs. Remember, we don't need to have them straight. We can lift up the arms as well. We're just going to come and circle through the ankles and the wrists one way and then the other. And then let's bring the knees into the chest and let's just come and find some circles with the knees together, giving our lower back a little bit of a massage. And the other way. And then let's come to find our resting pose. So there's my chime. So just coming to find either your Shavasana or staying in your constructive rest pose, whatever feels more comfortable for you. I'm going to come to sit up. And starting to let everything settle. We've been doing anyhow in our cooling down poses, but now just coming to have a moment of stillness. Maybe noticing any sensations that you feel in your body, noticing how you feel now after our practice. Maybe coming to have a little thought about the story, part of the story you liked. Maybe the Rainbow Bridge is kind of the nicest part. It's maybe not such a relaxing story to think about, but thinking about wisdom. We all have wisdom. We all have our own wisdom. Our body has wisdom. And when we come to quieten down and find our rest pose like this, we make a little bit of space that we can just listen a little bit to our own wisdom. Luckily, we don't have to give our eye for it, our right eye for it. It's just there for all of us. Sometimes it can be when we're feeling really busy in our minds, or if we've got a lot going on, it can be hard to quieten down and be able to listen in. And that's why we just come to practice, coming to quieten down, maybe noticing the breath. So remember, if your mind is really busy and there's lots of thoughts going through your head, a really good way to quieten the mind down can be to just notice the breath going in and out. So it's not really that we want to quieten the mind, but we just want to let the mind settle. And when we come to just watch the breath going in and out, gives a chance for the mind just to come and take a little rest. Watching the in-breath and the out-breath. In, breathing out. Remember, you can always take a longer relaxation. You can stay lying down if you're feeling really cozy and comfortable, but if you're ready to come out of your relaxation, you can come to bring a little bit of movement to your fingers and your toes. You can stretch through your body, making yourself nice and long. Bring your knees into your chest and just give yourself a hug and just send yourself some loving, friendly wishes. I love the whole of my being. And then letting your feet come down. Here we can let both knees roll over to the side, and we can use our top hand just to come and bring us up to sitting. So I hope you enjoyed that yoga story. and I will hopefully see you soon in real life after the Easter, and next week there'll be another video. Let's bring our hands in front of our chest together and we can just come and bow to each other. Namaste. Have a brilliant rest of the day, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.